So now we're going to have a look at joining our letters together. Now the difficulty here is not forming the letters, that's the point of pre-cursive, is to get them all in the right place and the right size. The difficulty here is joining them together, and particularly keeping your hand in the right place, especially for those longer words where your hand might have to move across the page. So the trick for that is when you first start, is to start by practicing with some quite short words like the word hat. So you'll start with a H. And when you get to the bottom of your H, you go straight into the A and straight into the T. And you can see I've done all of the letters joined together in one continuous line. Okay, now you can see the T, there was a cross on the end there. Let's have a look at another one, like the word height, which has got an I and a T in. So we go for the H, straight into the E, into the I, and I'm going to leave the dot on the I until I'm finished. So that's what the word will look like when you're done, and then when I'm finished with the continuous writing of the word height, I can come back and put the dot on the I, and I can put the cross on the T. Don't be tempted to sort of stop halfway when you've just finished the I, put the dot on, and then try and put the pen back on the page where you were. Finish the whole word, and then come back to it. Now the real difficulty here in joining together comes with 4 specific letters, which are V, W, O, and R. And these are the letters that don't come back down to the line. Now there's a pretty obvious reason for that really. If you look at, for example, the letter O, and you try and write the word hot, if you do your H and your O and then come back down to the line, you've not actually written hot, you've ended up writing hat, which is not what you wanted to write. Okay, so let's look at joining letters like O into another word. If the letter is a short letter, it's relatively simple, like for the word one. So you do your letter O, you come across the top, and then you just start your N from there, where you are. So you go down, up and over, and into your E. You essentially just need to start the letter from wherever you end up. If you think of the word like hot, where you're going into a tall letter, so your O's going straight H-O into a T, which is tall, it's exactly the same. You just start the letter from where you are. So you'll do your H, into your O, and across. And then rather than going back down to the bottom, I'm just going to go straight up into my T, and then I can put my crossbar on. There is a temptation sometimes to come back down to the line. So you do the O, and then some children will try and flick across, then go down, and then go into a T. But what you've actually done is kind of put sort of an I in the middle there. So try not to do that. Go straight across, and go straight into the next letter. If it's a tall one, just go straight up into it, and if it's a short one, just start from where you are on the line. Now the only exception for joining is when you're thinking about capital letters, say for those words at the beginning of a sentence that start with a capital letter, or for proper nouns like names and places. So if we think, for example, of the name Tom, we'd start with a capital T, and then we do our O and our M joined together, but I don't join anything to the capital letters. They are never joined to anything. So I'll just do my O and straight across the top into my M. So be careful not to join those capital letters together. If you're struggling with the formation of capital letters, have a look back in the print section of the videos. There's a full video there on the formation of capital letters. So that's how to join. Start with short words, keep practicing, try joining your own name, and keep working on that. And when you're confident, the words can get longer and longer and larger and larger. Just be careful with these letters V, W, O and R. Like we've talked about, they all join in the same way. So if they join into a short letter, you just go across and start from where you are. And if they join into a tall letter, go across and go straight up into the tall letter. If you're finding any of those difficult, have a chat with your child's class teacher and we'll be able to give you some extra help. Okay, so let's look at joining in a little more detail there. Imagine the word hat again, so we're going to start on our H, go straight into our A, and straight into our T. And then I can put my crossbar on at the end. And like we talked about, where there are words with the letters in the middle that need dots and crosses, we leave them all till the end. Then we can put our dots and crosses in when we're finished. Those tricky letters to join, like O, that join over the top. So if you're joining into a short letter, like in the word one, do your O, straight across, and just start the next letter from wherever you are. Watch again. So we do our O, and then when we're across here, I'll just start the next letter, which is the letter N, from wherever I am. If it's going into a tall letter, like in the word hot, I'll do my O, and then go straight up, and then down to finish off my tall letter, and then I can put my crossbar on afterwards. Okay, and the last really important thing to remember, if you're working with capital letters, for example in a name, we would never join anything to the capital letter. So we do our capital letter, and then we do the rest of the name or the rest of that proper noun, be it the name of a place or a person or an object. We do the rest of that without joining it together. So the rest of the word is joined together, but nothing ever joins to that capital letter. Remember to start with some nice short and easy words and get progressively longer and progressively more difficult.